Hey guys, EST here, and I don't usually make videos right in the middle of something, but this is incredibly important and it has to do with what you should do right now, so, well, I'm doing it. So I usually have notes and an outline, so this might be a little more scatterbrained than even my average video, but it's really good information. I go a couple different places, so, do watch the whole thing if you want, some good information about what's going on. And I even touch on some more stuff like avian flu and stuff that's going on, so yeah, stick around. I'm sure this won't age well once we get, more information. Even by 48 hours from now, who knows, might change. But also, obviously nothing in here is financial advice. I have to legally say that. But hey, 2 big banks just went completely insolvent almost overnight. And it looks like some rumors, some bad stuff, some bad tech news all led up to it, and then a rumor and a run. Okay, it's a bank run, whatever. But trading was just halted on a whole bunch of publicly traded banks. Not sure why. So here's what's going on. Okay, this isn't like giant, housing market 2008 stuff. So it's already not as bad as that, but also the economy's not in a good place because Joe Biden just won't stop hitting Control P on his money printer. He's like 1,000,000 years old. I think he just walked into the Treasury and said, well, it didn't print. Control P and enter again. I'm just going to send it again. That's what you do if something doesn't print. You send the job again, right? I work in IT, by the way. And we all know like a slowdown, a recession, something bad, just bad economic whatever's coming, but it's coming so slowly as opposed to, whoa, look at all these loans that just defaulted all at once. Like the whole housing crisis in 2008, which we made our way out of, despite garbage leadership, was, that was bad. That was incredibly bad. Very high unemployment, but we made our way out of it. This will not be that bad. So people are like, this is it. This is the collapse. This is the end of anything. I don't see that, but there are some things you need to do and need to check on, like now, like right now. Before I give you the steps, I should probably just explain what's going on. So people heard, hey, this bank might not be doing so well because they're in Silicon Valley and they do tech stuff and tech stuff's not doing very well right now or something. I don't know the origin of the rumor, to be honest. It's like second, third, fourth hand information, but people are like, oh yeah, I should pull my money out of this bank. And then they all did it in such a short period of time that they kind of overflowed the amount of liquid cash that they had on hand. Because banks don't just sit there with your money in a vault. They sell mortgages and bonds and loans and whatever. So that is non-liquid money. Liquid money is you can pull it out and spend it. It's cash, it's whatever. Now, diamonds, gold, stuff like that. Not quite as liquid because you'd have to sell it first. You can't just go spend gold bars. And maybe bartering, and then super non-liquid is like, I have $5,000 tied up in a certified deposit or a bond. In order to get the money out, I have to wait until the end period or sell it off or take the penalty if it's a CD. That is extremely not liquid. And then like really big, hard to sell assets and luxury stuff like a boat or a house or something. That's like very, very, very not liquid because you can't just, go to a pawn shop and sell your house. So how much liquid assets did they have on hand? Let's just say, I don't know, $10 billion and people were like, oh, I heard this bank's going to fail. Pull out 11 billion collectively. That's when like immediately they're just like, we don't have the money to do this. That's why, rumors are a powerful thing. But all the CEOs at this garbage Silicon Valley bank were selling their stocks ahead of time, so they knew what was coming. This was not overnight. They were doing poorly, money was going out, and they loaned, I'd say too much of it, but not from a legal standpoint. Because there are restrictions, like if it's checking versus savings, and how you sold it, how much you're willing to lend, and if you're big enough but not. And they were into a little bit of crooked stuff, but not too much as far as banking goes. I'm not going to get way into it. And as if these rich manager jerks don't have enough money. But anyway, that's not important right now. What is how many more banks are going to be affected? Is every bank in America going to fail all at once? No, there's no reason. And they didn't fail during 2008 either. The only thing that started this was kind of bad, banking conditions and obviously inflation, which is pretty bad. But like interest rates are up. So like banks are making money, And people are actually driving up credit right now collectively. So banks are actually making bank, you know what I mean? But this one rumor sparked this one. And now people say, well, this is going to cascade to this. It's a contagion. Well, it's, okay. Information moves really quick in 2023. Okay, we got the internet, we got rumors, we got people panicking and stupid people. So when they say contagion, this could spread really fast. But the contagion is, all the banks are going to fail. I better go pull a couple thousand out. And if everybody does that, then yes, the bank will fail. But if people can be a little more reasonable about it, or if you've been watching my channel, you got, 1 to 2,000 sitting in small bills in a fireproof bag inside of a safe or hidden somewhere in your house already, then you're good. But if you go to pull it right now, then your bank probably isn't going to start doing very well. But like I bank at one where I've seen their publicly listed asset counts and like statements and stuff. They're big enough I'm not worried. There's one that I bank at because I use multiple banks, which if you don't use multiple banks right now, go get a bank account somewhere else. That's step one, do that. You are like actually insane if you just have one bank. And I'm not saying 2 checking accounts necessarily. You could go with savings, but I'd go big chain and then small local or, definitely credit union. Banks are awful. Go nonprofit, duh. But one of the 2 banks that I bank at is unfortunately a bank, and it's just an old business account. It's just to like deposit checks. It's almost nothing in it, but they were doing awful. They've changed names twice, I think, in the last, as far as I remember, like 20 years or something, or been acquired, and they closed branches. They are not doing well at all. And their new policies are crap. Everybody hates them, and there's nobody ever in the lobby. It worries me. Banks like that are already not doing well, I mean, as a whole, not just my branch, not just regional. Banks as a whole that are not doing well might be affected by this. So if you bank at one, I'm not saying pull your money out because then you'll make them, crash. But honestly, if they're not that good, why are you even still there? But bad businesses that are on the verge of any type could fail at any point. I mean, look at mismanaged garbage like Target. That place is being run by morons. It doesn't matter what they do. It's only a matter of time before they go fully bankrupt. Same with mismanagement and just economic conditions, failure to adapt and overextending and real estate issues and whatever else went into like Sears and all the other big chains that went out. Barnes and Noble's, what their board tried to do to the owners. Like you get drama like that on top of a bad market, and then they try like, oh, I know what'll help. Let's go woke and get super liberal. Oh, why are we losing money at 10 times the rate now? Yeah, bad businesses are on a ticking clock no matter what. They fail all the time. Doesn't really matter how big they are. But right now, if you're at a bad bank, you might want to reconsider that, or at least split your money between 2, because it's not like, oh, well, they went bankrupt, I don't get my money out. No. FDIC insurance, assuming that account doesn't hit 0 federally, and if it does, Joe Biden will just hit Control-P a couple more times. The old Treasury money printer, you're getting the first $250K. And if you got more than $250K in the bank, what? Really? It's not tied up in a business, a bond, somewhere else, an investment, split apart? Like, what are you doing? Besides losing 10% from inflation because a pretty big number, a pretty comma and large number, a large and pretty looking number is sitting in a bank account and it makes you feel special. What the hell are you doing with more than $250,000 in liquid cash unless you're like a business owner and it's a business account? Then, okay. But I don't know about you, but one of my financial institutions I bank at is they have a system where if you go over 250, they like sell a partial account to someone else and trade it. So you're still fully insured up to like an enormous amount. And the FDIC's got your back, and then they're automatically distributing it between multiple banks, like for you. So I guess, okay, if you don't have any paper cash sitting around, put it in a fireproof, environmental proof, dog proof, everything proof, break it and find it proof, kid proof area. And I think I said where I think you should put it already. And just have that around just in case your credit card and your debit card don't work all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Just in case. But that's completely regardless of any news going on right now. And your local bank is probably not going to close. I don't know. If you live in California, you're already kind of living on the edge there anyway, but that's your own fault. And you're probably too stupid to be on this channel if you live in California, unfortunately. Well, Southern California. The crappy part of California. Yeah, all the tech companies and the local economies there and the big skyscrapers and the tax rates and all that. Yeah, it's already like a bankrupt welfare state because the stupid Democrats won't stop spending too much. So this on top of it, yeah, California is going to get to Detroit level pretty quick, it's looking like. I mean, they might be able to turn it around, who knows. Domestic chip production, great, but nobody in the right mind is setting up a chip facility in California. Look where they are being built. Yeah, nobody trusts California. It's being run by clowns and morons. And if you still live there, you're one of them. But other than that, if you're sitting out in, like the Midwest or something, you're like, oh, is my bank going to fail? Probably not. What does it have to do with any of this? But if the contagion where everybody's like, oh, pull your money out, pull it out now. If enough people do that, then yeah, the banks will fail. And then when more fail, it's a cascading thing. That's why the FDIC came in and said, we're going to reimburse these stupid, rich, greedy millionaires who also have lots of lobbyists. I'm sure there's no connection there. It's just a coincidence. But they aren't wrong where they're like, we can't just let this happen and be like, oh, well. And it's a lot of startups and like big important tech companies where it's like, okay, now we own it domestically, this new big thing, this new AI thing, this new computing thing, this new software company, which is one less of those happening in India or China. There you go. So it is actually important. They're not like it's important, wink, wink, when we're just like, it's a bunch of rich people out in Silicon Valley. Who cares? Screw them. But like some of those companies are important. Not all of them, some of them. Some of them are just stupid, dumb, DoorDash and Uber and stuff we don't really need. That are also being drastically mismanaged by complete idiots with garbage business strategies and just overall terrible business plans. But for the rest of them, it's like, no, I think we do want to own Adobe. Like, we do want to own the next whatever. And if you let them just all fail because all their money just vaporized, the foreign competition is going to ramp up. We can't let that happen. So that, and then the other reason is so that, like, everybody, you're fine. You'll get your money on Monday. Boom. Raise the interest rates, take it over, sell it off. I mean, it's not even really a bailout. And the money is there for a reason. And look up how much money is sitting there in the FDIC's coffers. It will make you pause for a moment. It is an astronomical amount of money they're sitting on. So as long as not all the banks in America all fail simultaneously because everybody's like, pull it out now, oh my God, pull out all my money, then we should be fine. And that's what they're talking about, the contagion. They want to make this, sweep it under the rug and make it look okay as just like a one-time little event that we can all forget about as quickly as humanly possible. And I just said the two actual reasons, besides a bunch of bribery and dirty money and lobbyists and crap, those are the two real reasons that are actually relevant. So nothing's going to happen to your local bank unless they're already weak, and that probably would have happened anyway. This will just accelerate it, potentially, because people are like, wait a minute, my bank's awful. Those are going to be the people that are like, I'm going to pull out and go to a bigger bank. Also, that's what people are saying lately is, if you're at a small bank, go to a big bank. Because they can survive it, they can weather it, they got smarter people, and they just got more resources, and they're more distributed, and whatever. I don't entirely agree. I would go to the largest nonprofit credit union that you can get. I think that makes a little more sense. But yeah, if you're at a fragile small bank, that you might want to reconsider that, unless it's just whatever's by you because you live in a small area, But if you signed up because you got a free grilling set and $50 and you saw a cool ad and you like their marketing and your friend works there, I wouldn't say close your account, pull out your money now, because how much stuff do you have tied to it online? You know what I mean? And debit cards and like auto pay and direct deposit. Like you can't just, I'm closing it, mail me a check. But like maybe take a couple hundred, open one somewhere else and slowly phase things off of it. And slowly, as fast as you possibly can. But if the bank collapses, are you going to lose your money? No, because FDIC is going to step in and give it to you. So I think really weak banks, because we just saw some trading pauses on some publicly traded banks, we're going to see some banks fail. But it's not enough for anybody to give a crap. It'll be the really weak ones that were overextended, mismanaged, and doing poorly for various reasons, like bad customer service, bad management, bad rates, treating the customers poorly, and they deserve to go under. Good. But like, if you get, I hate to say rug pulled, because that's a different term, but like, if the rug gets pulled out from under you, all of a sudden your bank's like, sorry, we're suspending deposits. And then FDIC comes in as quick as possible. It's like, this bank was on the verge of collapse anyway, whatever. And nobody has the money or the interest in buying them up yet. You could probably get your money out. But then, like I said, what about all those stuff tied to it? So you might as well have your money and accessible bank accounts and debit cards tied to at least 2 other banks. I don't see a reason to go to 3 unless you're really rich. But and like I said, I keep saying bank, credit union. When you hear the word bank, just translate it in your head to credit union, because banks are awful, for-profit, just terrible companies trying to rip you off every way possible, and nonprofits are not in it for the profit. I know of some bad credit unions, but most of them are pretty good, just saying. And just in case, like I said, have a couple hundred, or if you can afford it, more, in a very secure, safe place, in paper, in small bills, in your house. And that's mostly just in case of like, an internet outage of this or that. I mean, if things again happen, we've had AWS go out. And if you don't know who that is, it's Amazon Web Services. They run like a third of the internet. They've had a couple outages, and I don't mean regional. What was that other one? DirecTV or whatever? T-Mobile? Or they're all a big conglomerate. They just went down because of a hack and ransomware. Because they're careless idiots who don't spend enough on IT and ship it out to foreign contractors, allegedly. Gotta pretend like I don't have first or second-hand knowledge of that. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that out loud? So it's like, you never know when just all of a sudden, because some portal is down, some payment thing is down, some regional internet thing is down, there's some cell outage, some glitch, some weather thing, whatever, where you can't count on your electronic stuff. The whole pay by phone, the tap, all that NFC crap that you should never, ever use, ever. Just take my word for it on that. You should have cash just in case, and in the smallest denominations, so you're not trying to pass off $100 to buy something for $10, Especially if like the power's out after a tornado or something, you know what I mean? But man, if you live in Canada, Justin Trudeau can be like, you supported some truckers and we consider them terrorists now, so we're locking your bank account. Good luck paying anything. And then all of a sudden you're behind on your utilities. They get shut off. You're getting warnings, you're getting overages payments until they decide to unlock it when you apologize and go to his little re-education camp. Yeah, England, Canada, and Australia are already at that level. America's close. So remember that next time you go vote and have some damn cash around the house. I cannot stress that enough. And, diversify your bank accounts unless you just don't have the resources to do it. And then just, if it's a weak one, just move. Do everything you can to move as quick as possible. And if they fail because of it, they deserved it because they're awful. It's just that simple. So I'm not encouraging a bank run, obviously. I'm just saying, it's less disruption in your life and you're probably overdue for doing it if it's one small little chain bank that you don't like. And you heard that they're not doing well and they're closing places and getting acquired or whatever. Now, really, the third and only thing you should do besides not give a crap about this but still follow the news a little bit, and it might be a little biased, but subscribe to my channel, is you might want to look into, if you have enough money to risk on, I would call it a high-risk investment, crypto. Everybody, when there's a financial issue and this and that's going, and bonds just dropped 1%, and I do not mean 1% relative, it's 20% relative, it's 1% in their absolute, I think, average, offered interest rate or whatever. So the bond market is like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. It's not. But bonds are considered safe, especially if they're AAA rated. So if everybody's like, screw bonds and screw banks and screw this, where do I put it? You can either buy up real estate really quickly, which is allegedly about to go down in the next 2 years, so no, or you can just throw it at crypto. And you already know that everybody's going to do that. And look at the Bitcoin price in the last 48 hours. That's all I'm going to say. So crypto could crash anytime. And there is very, very strong evidence that the increase from, 16 to 22,000 in the last couple months was very artificial. According to somebody who studies that and did it for the government or something and does analytics and stuff, they said this looks like a pump and dump, but longer term. So if they see it going up, they could sell off. But I think there's enough people with billions with an S about to throw it at crypto that couple people selling off now that it went up ain't going to make a big difference. So once again, not financial advice, but it's something to look at if you're like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I should throw my money somewhere else, diversify, and I'm at one bank, I'm good there, whatever. I'm at a credit union, I'm happy, that's all that's in town. Where else should I put my money if I want to pull a tiny amount of it? If you already got some cash around the house, you already got good assets, you're already good on food and, the basics, food, shelter, security, safety, antibiotics, medical treatments, water filters, ammo, guns, whatever you can get legally to cover your bases, just no matter what happens, start from there. But I mean, you're watching this channel, you're probably already there. Come on. I would put the money into crypto right now if I had a little bit to spare. If I'm like, this is investment money, and I don't know about you, but my IRA went down 40% or some outrageous amount in the last 2 years. Those idiots ain't getting no more of my money, that's for damn sure. Plus, if you take my retirement age minus my current age, I don't think a society in America has that long. So to me, it was always flushing money down the toilet, but back then I had it. But yeah, they ain't getting another penny from me. Screw them. I can pick better investments than them, and I have historically. I've actually outperformed my entire IRA, both on a percentage and on a dollar amount. But yeah, I used to trade crypto pretty heavily, and if you haven't seen my other channel, unfortunately, if I would have kept my crypto that I had in 2011 and 2012 instead of selling it, I would have had $110 million. Now, I am in deep in debt and on the verge of having to sell my house, so I'm not in a good financial position right now. I'm just digging my way out after COVID losses and some medical bills, if you want the short version. But yeah. This channel's on the rise here, but I haven't even hit 100 a month on this one yet. And my main channel used to make $5,000 a month, and last month it made under $1,000. So I'm working a tech job right now. It's paying enough, but barely enough to pay, get the interest. But luckily, real estate just went up, and I might be able to refi my house. So if you're in a bad financial situation like that or similar, just something where you're like, ooh, I'm already overextended, I'm already paying off a lot of interest, I already had this happen, this bad thing, some thing with a car, an expense, a medical, whatever that just wasn't insured. Who knows? Whatever you're paying for that took a big dent out of your finances, or you just got out of college with a bad student loan or something, where you're just not in a financially healthy, safe, stable situation. Do whatever you can to improve it, just because, not because of the banking crap, but because of what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Just a bit of a slowdown no matter what, I don't see how it's avoidable, and ask anybody. Nobody's like, well, this might happen to fix it. No. Even domestic CPU production, which is the number one thing in the world right now, we're years out from that, 2+ years from what I hear. So it's going to be a bad 2 years, but probably not a 2008 bad 2 years unless we have a hurricane, an earthquake, or a war, a really bad situation, or some way worse pandemic, which I might have a video on this coming up soon. I'm still on the fence about making it, but bird flu. Yeah, good luck stopping bird flu when you're farming chickens and other birds can catch it and they could just fly into your farm. See, swine flu, that's talked up, that's nonsense. I mean, yeah, okay, pigs are closer to humans, whatever. It hasn't crossed over yet from what I heard. But random wild pigs don't just go flying into pig farms and infect them through the air, okay? Avian flus? That's bad. If you like chicken and turkey, I would start freezing it right now. But yeah, there's allegedly already a strain that can cross over to humans. I'm hearing rumors about it, and the lethality of it makes COVID look like the media treated COVID. It's not airborne Ebola, but it's making the Black Plague look awfully familiar, you know? That would be bad. That would do some economic damage. Do I even need to say it? Another pandemic, another lockdown, like a serious one where people actually die from it who aren't already on the verge of death. And of all the people pushing certain medical treatments for money, massive, massive corporate profits, because that's all they care about and that's all their shareholders care about, have they been removed from their positions of power yet? So would it be another time to have them partially in control of another pandemic? Hell no. So I hope it doesn't happen, but with the world's population and the lack of sanitation in other countries in Africa and third world countries, yeah, no, there's probably going to be a pandemic every 10 years. On average, minimum. So, that's another thing. It's like when the economics are already shaky, which they are right now, even before all this banking crap. Inflation is terrible. It's all because of the lockdown and printing money. Those are the only two reasons. Well, that and kind of like a borderline energy crisis, but that's more complicated. If one more big thing happens, that's not good. So be prepared for that. And honestly, if you're moderately wealthy, upper middle class to rich, first of all, send some of that money my way. Just kidding. I would refrain from buying like really dumb stuff. Like, no matter how much you think is in the bank and how much you're set, unless, like, your house is paid off, everything's paid off, you have no debt, and you're, like, borderline retired or something, or I don't know, like, you probably still got a mortgage, you still got, just bare minimum, you still got property taxes. Like, if a lot of that dries up real quick because you got to buy some stuff that's short, or you start, inflation, just all of a sudden you find yourself not so rich, but you still got all these bills and debts, oh boy. But if you're in a pretty good situation, I would say, well, don't go out on some big, expensive $10,000 vacation. Don't buy a $40,000 boat. I don't think that's what you need right now. That is not wise. Just looking at economics, I mean, you probably didn't get where you're at by being stupid financially, unless, well, some people just fall into it. I wouldn't be buying dumb luxury stuff. I wouldn't be buying no jewelry, no paintings, and no dumb expensive crap. Look, you want to buy like a $3,000 computer, I support that entirely. Working in IT, go for it. And like a more reliable, up-to-date car, an electric, or you want to put in, $10,000 solar project. Now we're talking, but don't buy dumb stuff. Don't buy luxury, waste of money crap. Not right now. Wait till the economics recover and you're a little bit better, Everything will be a little bit better off once this blows over if it does. So that's about all you need to know about all this, really. I added a little bit about some other news stories that just didn't merit their own videos, to be honest. And I've been really busy, mostly filing my taxes because YouTubers and 1099Ks mixed with W-2s, mixed with my other side hustle, which some of you know what that is if you've been on my other channel. Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare. Usually takes about 100 hours for me to finish, and I was way behind. Because I'm working now, so everything's going to crap for me, but if I can refi my house, I'll pay off all debt and we'll all be good. Then the worst I can do is lose my house. And with the amount I make right now, that'd be fine. Whatever, go bankrupt in my house, cool, I'll just move to an apartment. I make a lot, but a lot of it goes to interest on this debt that I just cannot pay off. And well, welcome to America. Half bad business circumstances, half COVID, and half medical. So probably not half, probably 33%. But yeah, a lot of stuff out of my control, a few things within it, but whatever. And I'm not going to give up and go whine about it or let me stress it, let it stress me out. That's just not how I am. I'm just going to keep working, keep hustling, keep moving ahead, and keep keep on the lookout. You want to be out ahead of anything that happens, which... that's why I made this video, and that's why you're on this channel. So subscribe if you don't want to miss anything else. Check out all the cool budget stuff on my channel, because we do not do high-end gear on this channel, and I never will. So you can see no EcoFlows or Jackeries. Those are lovely if you got the budget. Great, but like... I ain't the gear channel. I'm the here's how you build it yourself for $20 channel. So go check out some of my cool tech stuff. Build your own solar, DIY, charge your cell phone stuff, like just cool stuff, Cool techie, geeky stuff mixed with some woodsman stuff, mixed with some medical knowledge and chemistry, because that's my background. Very few preppers out there like me. So you landed on the right channel if you're still here at this point in the video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. And yes, I will make an update video if anything more comes to light.